The door swings open. Katie freezes. Her coffee cup tilts, spilling hot liquid across polished marble. Her breath catches in her throat like a trapped animal. The scene before her is pure nightmare. A man, beaten, bloodied, zip-tied to a chair, slumps forward, his face a canvas of fresh bruises. Another man, massive and scarred, holds a syringe filled with something clear and viscous. The needle glints under the dim office lighting. And standing over them both, calm as death itself, is a man in a tailored three-piece suit. He doesn't shout, he doesn't move, he simply turns his head, slowly, and his eyes lock onto hers with the precision of a predator identifying prey. His voice is low, controlled, chilling. "You weren't supposed to see that." The words hang in the air like a death sentence. Katie's entire body screams one word: run. She stumbles backward. The door slams shut. Whether she pulled it or someone pushed it, she doesn't know. Her hands shake violently as she clutches her messenger bag. 30 seconds, maybe less. That's how long she has before they catch her. She runs. Behind her, she hears the click of expensive shoes on marble. No shouting, no chaos. Just the terrifying sound of calm, methodical pursuit. Who was that man in the chair? What did he do to deserve that kind of torture? And why does the man in the suit look at her like he's already decided her fate? Katie's lungs burn as she sprints down the hallway. The penthouse is massive. Floor-to-ceiling windows, modern art on the walls, luxury that screams power and money. She shouldn't be here. She was supposed to deliver financial documents to floor 12. Her client gave her a key card. A specific office number, 42B. But the card opened 42A instead. How? Why did her low-level access card open a door to what is clearly a private secured penthouse? Her mind races through the possibilities as she bursts through another door into what looks like a luxury apartment. Leather furniture, a bar with crystal decanters, a side table with a framed photograph lying face down. She knocks it over as she passes. Instinct makes her write it. The photograph stops her cold for half a second. A younger version of the suited man, smiling, standing next to a woman who looks almost exactly like Katie. Same bone structure, same eyes, but not quite. The photo is dated 15 years ago. Who is that woman? Why does she look like me? No time. Footsteps echo closer. Katie shoves through the next door and finds herself in a stairwell. She takes the stairs 3 at a time, her ankle twisting painfully on the landing. She ignores it. Her phone buzzes in her pocket. Not now, not now. But then she sees the alert on the screen and her heart stops. Alexa, vitals unstable. Return to hospital immediately. No, 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 no. Her little sister. 10 years old, fighting cancer in a hospital bed across the city. Alexa is the reason Katie took this job. The reason she works 18-hour days doing freelance accounting for shady clients who pay in cash. The medical bills are crushing her. One missed paycheck, and Alexa loses her next round of treatment. Katie has to survive this, for Alexa. She hits the ground floor and bursts into the building's lobby, empty, dark. The security desk is unmanned. Where is everyone? She runs toward the exit, her messenger bag bouncing against her hip. The glass doors are so close. A hand clamps around her arm like a vice. Katie screams. The massive man from upstairs, the one with the syringe, yanks her backward with inhuman strength. She tries to fight, kicking, clawing, but he's a wall of muscle. Boss wants to talk, he growls. She's dragged back toward the elevators. Her nails scrape uselessly against the marble. Panic floods her system. The elevator doors open. The suited man is waiting inside, hands in his pockets. Expression unreadable. He steps aside. Bring her. The office is exactly as she left it, except now the man in the chair is gone. The blood has been wiped clean. The syringe is nowhere to be seen. It's like the nightmare never happened, except it did. And Katie knows too much. The suited man gestures to a chair across from his desk. Sit. Katie's legs wobble, but she stays standing. I didn't see anything, I swear. I won't tell anyone. Please, I have a sister. I know about your sister. Her blood turns to ice. He opens a file on his desk and turns it toward her. Inside are photographs. Medical records. Alexa's smiling face in a hospital gown. Her treatment schedule. the exact cost of her next round of chemotherapy. Katie's knees buckle. She grabs the edge of the desk to stay upright. Your emergency contacts were in your phone. He taps the device sitting on his desk, her phone. Alexa Hayes, 10 years old, St. Catherine's Children's Hospital. Stage 3 lymphoma, experimental treatment protocol. Very expensive. Tears blur her vision. Please don't hurt her. I'm not going to hurt her. Relief floods through her for one brief, stupid second. Then he continues. But I will buy the hospital and cut funding to her treatment wing if you don't do exactly what I say. The relief shatters into 1,000 pieces. Before I continue, if you're hooked on this story, hit that like button and subscribe. Trust me, this next part is unbelievable. Katie stares at the man across the desk. Her mind is spinning, trying to process the impossible situation she's in. Who are you? She whispers. Maxwell. He says it like she should know the name. Maybe she should. And you just witnessed the interrogation of a man who stole $500 million from me. $500 million. Katie's brain, wired for numbers, for calculations, can't even comprehend that amount. The man you saw, Maxwell continues, pulling a single charred piece of paper from a drawer. His name was Silas. He was my lieutenant. He was also a traitor. He slides the paper across the desk. It's labeled Project Nightingale in elegant script. Silas didn't just steal my money. He laundered it through a network of shell companies and offshore accounts. And he was about to hand it over to a rival cartel. Katie shakes her head. I don't understand what this has to do with me. The documents you were carrying tonight. Maxwell's eyes bore into hers. The ones you were supposed to deliver to floor 12. Who is your client? An investment firm, Chen Financial Consulting. They needed emergency paperwork for a... Chen Financial is one of Silas's money laundering fronts. The room tilts. Maxwell leans forward. The documents in your bag are the missing pieces of the puzzle. The final ledger entries I need to track down my money before midnight. Midnight? Why midnight? Because if I don't recover the funds by then, someone very dangerous is going to make sure I lose everything, including my legitimate businesses, including my future. There's something in his voice, something almost human that catches Katie off guard. I still don't understand what you want from me, she says. Maxwell stands. He walks to the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the dark Chicago skyline. You're going to help me decode Silas's ledger and get my money back. Katie laughs. It's a broken, hysterical sound. I'm just an accountant. I can't... You're not just an accountant. Maxwell turns to face her. Your academic records show you were flagged as a mathematical savant. Photographic memory for numerical patterns. You were on track to work for the federal government until something happened. A scandal, a betrayal. You disappeared from the academic world and started doing freelance work under the radar. How does he know all of this? Katie's throat tightens. That was a long time ago. But the skill doesn't disappear, does it? She says nothing. Maxwell walks back to the desk and opens her messenger bag. He pulls out the documents, pages of dense financial statements, transactions, coded entries. Silas was brilliant. He created a cipher inside his own ledger, numbers that look legitimate but actually point to offshore routing codes. My analysts have been trying to crack it for 3 days. He looks at her. You could do it in 3 hours. And if I say no, then Alexa's treatment stops. The words are delivered without malice. Just cold, hard fact. Katie feels tears streaming down her face. You're a monster. Yes. Maxwell doesn't deny it. But I'm a monster who's offering you a deal. You help me recover my money, and I'll keep your sister alive. I'll pay for every treatment, every medication, every specialist she needs, for the rest of her life. It's not a choice. It never was. Katie wipes her eyes. What do I have to do? The next 3 hours are a blur of numbers and desperate calculations. Katie sits at Maxwell's desk, the ledger spread before her, her fingers flying across a calculator. Her mind, the part of her she's kept locked away for years, roars back to life. The patterns jump out at her, hidden sequences, routing codes disguised as invoice numbers, account details buried in timestamps. Maxwell watches her work with a mixture of fascination and cold pragmatism. The massive man from earlier, Vito, Maxwell calls him, stands guard by the door, arms crossed, glaring at Katie like she's an insect. You trust her, boss? Vito's voice is gravel and suspicion. I trust her motivation. Maxwell doesn't take his eyes off Katie. Katie's phone buzzes again. Another alert from the hospital. Alexa's condition is worsening. Her hands shake as she enters another string of numbers. I need to call the hospital, she says. After you finish. She could die, then finish faster. Katie's vision blurs with tears, but she forces herself to focus. For Alexa. Everything is for Alexa. 20 minutes later, she's done. There, she slides the paper toward Maxwell. The money is being routed through 6 different accounts. Final destination is a holding company in the Cayman Islands. The transfer is scheduled for 11:45 p.m. Maxwell checks his watch. It's 10:30 p.m. We have 75 minutes. Katie shakes her head. I did what you asked. Let me go. You're coming with me. Maxwell stands, buttoning his suit jacket. If anything goes wrong, I need you there to fix it. I can't, my sister. Vito will personally deliver the medication she needs to St. Catherine's within the hour, but you don't leave my sight until this is over. Katie wants to scream, wants to run, but she's trapped. Maxwell gestures to the door. Let's go. The car is a black SUV with tinted windows. Katie sits in the back, wedged between 2 silent, armed men. Maxwell sits in the front passenger seat, making calls in a low, clipped voice. They're heading to the outskirts of the city, industrial district, warehouses, and shipping yards. Where are we going? Katie asks. The rival cartel operates out of a server center beneath one of their holding companies. That's where Silas routed the money. We're going to reverse the transfer before it finalizes. How are we supposed to get inside? Maxwell glances back at her. You let me worry about that. The SUV pulls up to a nondescript warehouse. From the outside, it looks abandoned. But Katie can see the faint glow of security lights and cameras. Maxwell and his men move with military precision. They're in and out of the vehicle in seconds, weapons drawn, scanning the perimeter. Katie is pulled along like cargo. They descend a hidden staircase behind a false wall. The air grows colder. The walls transition from concrete to steel. At the bottom is a massive reinforced door. Maxwell's tech specialist, a wiry man named Luca, works on the electronic lock. It takes 2 minutes. The door hisses open. Inside is a cathedral of technology. Rows upon rows of servers hum in the dim, blue light. The air is frigid, temperature controlled. There, Maxwell points to a central terminal. That's where we need to access the system. Katie is shoved toward the terminal. Her fingers hover over the keyboard. What am I doing? Reversing the transaction. Use the routing codes you decoded. Her heart is pounding. This is insane. This is federal crime territory. If she does this, there's no going back. But Alexa's face flashes in her mind. Her little sister, pale and weak in that hospital bed. Katie starts typing. The minutes tick by like hours. Katie's fingers fly across the keyboard, navigating firewalls and encrypted pathways. Maxwell stands behind her, silent, watching the screen. Vito and the other men stand guard at the entrance. Katie is so focused on the screen that she doesn't hear the footsteps until it's too late. Boss, we've got company, gunfire erupts. Katie screams, ducking under the terminal as bullets ricochet off the servers. Sparks fly. The air fills with the smell of burning electronics. Maxwell moves like a ghost, his weapon drawn, returning fire with terrifying accuracy. Keep working, he shouts at Katie. Her hands are shaking so badly she can barely type. The screen flickers. One of the stray bullets hit a server nearby. No. She reroutes through a backup system, her mind working faster than conscious thought. Numbers and codes flow through her like muscle memory. The gunfight intensifies. One of Maxwell's men goes down. Vito drags him back toward cover. 30 seconds, Katie shouts. Maxwell fires 3 more shots. 2 bodies hit the floor. 20 seconds. More footsteps. More attackers pouring in. This isn't just a raid, it's an ambush. Someone knew they were coming. Katie's stomach drops. She glances at Vito and sees the faintest flicker of something in his expression. Satisfaction. 10 seconds. Maxwell is reloading. Vito is standing too far back, not engaging. He's letting the attackers through. Katie's finger hovers over the final key. And then Vito moves. He doesn't fire at the attackers. He raises his weapon toward the main server, the one Katie is using. Sorry, boss. Vito's voice is cold. But this ends now. Time fractures into slow motion. Vito pulls the trigger. Maxwell roars and tackles him. But the shot goes off. The bullet slams into the server just above Katie's head. Sparks explode. The screen goes black. No. Katie's work, all of it, gone in an instant. Maxwell and Vito crash to the ground in a brutal close-quarters fight. Fists, knees, vicious primal violence. Katie stares at the dead screen, her mind racing. The attackers are closing in. More gunfire, more chaos. She has seconds to make a decision. The server is destroyed. The transaction can't be reversed. Maxwell's money is gone. His Project Nightingale, his legitimate future, is gone. And without Maxwell's cooperation, Alexa's medication won't be delivered. Unless Katie's savant mind locks onto a single possibility. The backup server, across the room, still operational, but if she uses it, she'll have to do something unthinkable. She'll have to prioritize. The money or the medicine. She can't save both. Katie sprints across the room, bullets whizzing past her head. She dives behind the backup server and yanks open the access panel. Her fingers fly across a secondary keyboard. She doesn't have time to reverse the full transaction, but she can reroute a small portion, a fragment of the total funds, through a different pathway. She types faster than she's ever typed in her life. On the ground, Maxwell has Vito pinned, his hands around the man's throat. Vito is clawing at Maxwell's face, leaving bloody scratches. Why? Maxwell's voice is raw. Why betray me? Vito laughs, a wet, choking sound. Your mother sends her regards. Maxwell's expression hardens. He increases the pressure. Katie blocks it out. Focus. Focus. She reroutes the funds, not to Maxwell's account. To a pharmaceutical supply chain. A direct purchase order for the specific experimental drug Alexa needs. Expedited delivery, St. Catherine's Hospital. The transaction finalizes, but in doing so, she leaves a digital fingerprint. A traceable signature that links her directly to the crime. The FBI will find it. They'll know she was involved. Katie stares at the screen, her chest heaving. Alexa will live, but Katie's life, as she knew it, is over. The gunfire stops. Maxwell's remaining men have neutralized the attackers. Vito lies unconscious on the ground, his face a bloody mess. Maxwell stands, breathing hard, and looks at Katie. She steps away from the backup server. It's done, she whispers. The money? Gone. I couldn't reverse it. She meets his eyes. But the medicine for Alexa is on its way. I made sure of it. Maxwell stares at her for a long moment. Something flickers in his expression. Surprise, maybe. Or respect. He pulls out his phone and makes a call. Confirm delivery to St. Catherine's. Priority 1. He listens, nods, ends the call. The medication will reach her in 30 minutes. Katie's legs give out. She collapses against the server, sobbing. She did it. Alexa will survive. But the cost? Maxwell crouches in front of her. You just sacrificed your freedom for your sister. Katie nods, tears streaming down her face. The digital trail you left will lead the feds straight to you. They'll come after you for financial crimes, aiding a criminal organization. You'll spend the rest of your life running. I know, Maxwell stands. He offers her his hand. Unless you let me protect you. Katie looks up at him, confused. You saved my life tonight, he says. You could have run. You could have let Vito destroy everything. But you chose to save your sister, and in doing so, you forced me to honor my word. He pulls her to her feet. I lost my money, but I kept my humanity. That's worth more than 500 million. Katie doesn't know what to say. Maxwell's phone buzzes. He glances at the screen, and his jaw tightens. We need to leave. Now. They exit the server center just as sirens wail in the distance. The car speeds through the dark Chicago streets. Katie sits in the back, numb, staring out the window. Her phone buzzes. An update from the hospital. Alexa's vitals are stabilizing. The medication has been administered. She's responding well. Katie closes her eyes and lets the tears fall. Maxwell watches her in the rearview mirror. What happens now? Katie asks. Now you disappear. New identity, new life. I have people who can make that happen. And Alexa? She'll be taken care of. Full medical coverage. The best specialists in the country. I keep my promises. Katie's chest tightens. Why are you helping me? Maxwell is silent for a long moment. Because you reminded me of someone. His voice is soft, almost sad. Someone I lost a long time ago. Katie remembers the photograph. The woman who looked like her. She wants to ask. But something tells her the answer would break whatever fragile truce they've established. The car pulls up to a parking garage several blocks from St. Catherine's Hospital. Maxwell turns in his seat. You can't go inside, but you can watch from here. He hands her a pair of binoculars. Katie steps out of the car and walks to the edge of the garage. From here, she has a clear view of Alexa's window. 3rd floor, east wing. Through the binoculars, she can see her little sister. Pale, but alive. A nurse is adjusting her IV. Alexa's eyes are closed, but her chest rises and falls steadily. She's going to be okay. Katie lowers the binoculars, her vision blurred with tears. Behind her, Maxwell leans against the car, watching her. You opened the wrong door tonight, he says. Katie laughs, a broken, exhausted sound. Yeah, but maybe it was the right door after all. She turns to look at him. What does that mean? Maxwell pushes off the car and walks toward her. It means you're not just a witness anymore. You're not just an accountant. You're someone who risked everything for the person you love. He pauses. That kind of loyalty is rare, valuable. Katie shakes her head. I don't want to be part of your world. You already are. The words hang between them like a chain. Maxwell pulls out a card and hands it to her. When you're ready to disappear, call this number. I'll make the arrangements. Katie takes the card, her hands trembling. And if I don't call? Then the feds will find you within 48 hours. And Alexa will lose you forever. It's not a threat, just reality. Katie looks back at the hospital window, at her sister, safe and alive. She opened the wrong door, but in doing so, she found a terrible new purpose. A life built on debt, loyalty, and survival. She pockets the card. I'll call. Maxwell nods. He walks back to the car and opens the door. One more thing, he says. Katie looks at him. Thank you. For not letting me become the monster I was afraid I'd already turned into. Before she can respond, he's gone. The car disappears into the night, leaving Katie alone in the shadows. She raises the binoculars one last time. Alexa stirs in her bed. Even from this distance, Katie can see her little sister's lips move. She's asking for her. Katie's heart breaks and mends in the same moment. I'm here, she whispers into the darkness. I'll always be here, even if it means becoming someone she never wanted to be. Even if it means living in the shadows. Even if it means owing her life to a man who deals in death. Because that's what love is. Sacrifice. If you made it to the end of this story, drop a like and subscribe. And tell me, where are you watching from? What would you have done in Katie's position? Sometimes the wrong door leads to the only path forward. Thank you for watching.